Hello and welcome everybody to today's video. Welcome to the Vee Academy. My name is Crumbrion, Professor Crumbrion, if you would. And today, we're going to be taking a look at a wonderful game that we played on Pokemon Trading Card Game Live. And be happy to get your reactions to it. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. If you want to follow me and watch games in real time, check me out on twitch.tv/Crumbrion. For now, let's go check out the game. Thanks for watching.
3, 2, 1, go!
Wonder if Monica is going to accuse more people of abuse now that she's not the main star in Diamond like she did to Vic. I mean, probably. Her MO, so. She does all the time. What could you possibly be using TM for in this deck? Is this another Gardevoir deck, or? I guess it wouldn't be playing Rotom, right? It's probably that weird, like, Dragapult deck. Oh, Milotic. We have ways to deal with the bullshit Milotic shit now. At least in this deck we have Pidgeot that can attack, so fine. Or a Sealstone's nice. We can get we can get Arven and Pidgeot here. Yeah, we can, I mean, we can get Cyrano too, but we already have well, yeah, I think Cyrano actually is better for us here. Because we can grab 3 EXs. Let's take them out of the deck anyways. Pheasantipity is prized by the looks of it, so that's cool. They're gonna have TM Devo as well here. Which will not affect Pidgeot, and Pidgeot will not go to sleep either. Yeah, we don't necessarily need the because this guy can't do much of anything at all, so there's not really much to do about that. What do we want to do here? We can retreat. They don't have an attack yet, right? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, they don't have an attack here. Ellen. Big chillin'. Maybe it's a 2 Pidgeot game, actually. Maybe it's a 2 Pidgeot game. Turo Lumineon again for a different supporter. What do we want here? So I mean, obviously the fire goes to Pidgeot for sure. Get the ball. Don't need that. Likely won't need this. I have to think about this like pretty hard. So. Want that. I'll disrupt their hand a little bit as well. Pawn's coming out. Free Euro Tom. I really hope I got rid of the energy that they were going to play. Yep, certainly did. That's good. That is good news. Canceling clone's nice too. Only have the one though. Only have the one. Yep. I fucked them on their energy, so they have to play all these extra cards to get their energy that they needed, so this is good for us. Very good news. Nadalny's back? Yeah. I've seen that. That's good. Good for her. Your Hydro Splash cannot put me to sleep, friend. Sorry. That does not work on Pidgeot. What else do we want to do here, though? We can Pidgeot for boss. We can boss up Gastrodon. Not right now. But yeah, we boss up the Gastrodon and force them to retreat it, sure. Surely have a way to retreat in there. Certain. We have to make sure that we can hit 270 on their Milotic before we play Canceling Clone. So. Oh, now we have Devo. That can also work. This thing doesn't have much hit point. 30, yeah. Let's blast it for 50 and TM Devo. Good. We're chilling. I know we did that correctly. This. Yeah, this is the more problematic one, right? a Dusclops, that's good. Then they've taken one prize, so they're at 210, so now canceling clone will KO the Ogrepon. Yep, let's look at that for good, that's good. They want to get their Milotic back into play, by the looks of it. Going to let that happen. Oh, it's the Shellos, that's fine. That I don't care about, that's easy. Easy peasy. The fire energy. We sack the Pidgey here, surely. Yeah. Sack the Pidgey out. Could have grabbed the canceling clone, but we needed to Iono here to shrink their hand down. We didn't want them having 13 cards. Well, Demolish doesn't kill Pidgeot yet, but I don't want to risk things here. Again, I don't care about Gasp. Doesn't make any difference to me. Makes zero difference to me at all. Perfect. We Iono again? No, they only have 3. 2. We're gonna go canceling clone. Matched Charmander. Do is knock out with well, there we go. There's the Night Stretcher. That should be game now. We have to retreat to do it though. Okay, but is it? Is it though? 130. Yep, it's game. GG. Gone around the brand spanking new Gastrodon lock. And Milotic, too. It's pretty good. Let's take a peek at that because that was an interesting duel. Duel. All right, let's take a look. In my slightly woozy state after having my blood taken today for testings. All right, so let's see how we managed to get here, because that was like not even really an issue. Like that wasn't really even like a scary situation for us at all, right? So we went through not only Mimikyu, but we went through Milotic, we went through Gastrodon, and we went through Cornerstone. So this was a pretty counter matchup to what we're trying to do. So let's take a look at how we got there. We started with Pidgey and Charmander. The Mist Energy actually helped out quite a bit, because if we didn't have the Mist Energy, then Pidgeot would be put to sleep. Not really a huge deal, but it does lock Pidgeot into the active, right? So we couldn't retreat it. So, kind of an issue. We would have to commit our Pidgeot search to something else, but the Mist Energy stops us from being put to sleep, which is very, very important. So we end up getting not really a whole lot of help off the instant charge, though. But so we find out exactly what this deck is, because then they put down Feebas and they put down Shellos to start their bench. So we see exactly what they're trying to set up now. They have to attach an energy to the Rotom in order for them to get the TM evolution, which slows their board down just enough for us to kind of mount a strategy against them here. Because if they have their Milotic setting up basically instantly, then we're kind of in trouble, right? We don't want to see a Milotic on the field for very long, if anything at all. So we want to make sure that that's not the case. So they TM Evo. Good thing about that is that they don't end their turn by using instant charge, so they don't draw more cards. The only nice part about that, the sad part about that is that they get Gastrodon active and they get Milotic active. So the things that you have to remember about these two cards when you're playing against this kind of control deck. So Gastrodon is only effective when it's on the bench, and it's only effective on things that are on the bench. So as long as this Pokemon's on your bench stage 2s, both yours and your opponents have no abilities. So this means that Pokemon that are in the active can still do stuff. So that will become important later. But also means that if Gastrodon's in the active, then its ability shuts off entirely. So that's one thing that you have to keep in mind when you're going up against a Gastrodon, is be very aware of what abilities you're trying to activate. Milotic has Sparkling Scales, prevent all damage and effects from attacks from your opponent's Terra Pokemon done to this Pokemon. So one important thing on this one, the reason why we didn't attach, aside from the fact that we could have attached the TM Devo to our Charizard, but if Charizard used the TM Devolution, Milotic would not be affected because it would be coming from a Terra-type Pokemon. It has to come from Pidgeot. So when we come back a little bit later, we're going to revisit that. Sparkling Scales prevents all damage and effects from attacks from Terra Pokemon. So we end up getting... We could have grabbed Arven here. I think it was a smarter move to put Cyrano in this Lumineon Surge. We put Cyrano in the Charizard deck because this allows you to grab up to 3 Pokemon EX, which gets you Charizard, it gets you Pidgeot, and it gets you Fezandipity. So not only that, but you're taking 3 cards that you don't necessarily want to have in your deck anymore out, which is very, very good. Cyrano just replaces the ability, it gets you the ability to search 2 Pokemon that you want right now. So you can get 2 Charizards and a Pidgeot, you can get Charizard, 2 Pidgeots, as we did here, because there was no Fezandipity, or you can get a Charizard, a Pidgeot, and a Fezandipity. Go right for it. You get 3 Pokemon right out of it. So there you go. It's a pretty solid card. Cyrano, I definitely think fits like a glove on Charizard. Absolutely. So that allows us to free up Star Alchemy for the rare candy. We get the rare candy Pidgeot. Pidgeot searches at another rare candy, and that gets us our Charizard. So instantly, without having any rare candies and just having a Charizard, Cyrano enables us to free up our Sealstone search for a rare candy, and then Pidgeot gets us a rare candy, where if we were in this situation and we had to use Arven, we're only getting a Pidgeot out at this point, potentially, because we have to grab the rare candy either with Arven, and then our Sealstone search would have to be for something else. It could have either been for we did have Charizard in hand, so it could have been for a second candy or something like that. But usually in those types of situations where you only have when you only have one, then yeah, we had to get the rare candy with the Star Alchemy, which gets us our Pidgeot. So we didn't have a rare candy in hand, so we had to grab the Star Alchemy, got Pidgeot. Pidgeot could have grabbed another rare candy, got the Charizard. Provided we didn't have the Charizard already in hand, we wouldn't have had a Charizard, but in this instance we did. So very, very simple turn from our opponent. They just have to attach double turbo, which means that we have another turn before Milotic can attack because Rotom has energy on it. So because they instant charged, I did kind of want to disrupt their hand on this one because they did have more cards in their hand, which it looked like it was a good option because I believe they might have had the energy to attack that turn. So any sort of spot disruption is very, very good. So we Ultra Ball here, we grab ourselves a Duskull, we put the Duskull down on the bench to fill up our bench slots. We want to get rid of the Rotom as a potential lock-in, potential liability. So we get rid of the Rotom, and then we play Professor Turo's scenario on the Lumineon, because Lumineon could come in handy later, or it could be a liability. So we want to have it in hand or back in the deck. So we Turos the Lumineon to take off our two. So the Collapse Stadium gets rid of the Rotom, Turos gets rid of the Lumineon. All of a sudden, the two things that we don't necessarily want to have in the active slot are no longer on the bench. So both very good cards there. We search out Meddling Memo. Because we've played a supporter this turn, we can't play Iono. So the only option for hand disruption left is Meddling Memo, and we included this in the deck as well. So we put in Meddling Memo in the deck because the situations, it's actually pretty funny, because if your opponent has like a fistful of cards that they just drew or something like that, you can not only use Meddling Memo to make them count their cards and shuffle it down and draw more cards. So they shuffle their hand and put it on the bottom of their deck with Meddling Memo, and they draw that many cards. And then you can hit them with Iono afterwards to shuffle those cards and put those cards on the bottom of the deck and then draw from the top as well. So they have a really big deck still. If they still have like 30 cards left, you're taking like basically half of their deck and you're burying a potentially good hand for them big time. So that's huge. So you're burying anywhere from 6 to 12 cards on the bottom of their deck, and you're making them draw anywhere from 6 down to 1 or whatever it is. If it's later in the game, obviously there won't be that many, but Meddling Memo is very nice for spot disruption, and it did seem to do the trick. So they put 7 cards down, they drew 7 cards. Whatever was in their hand that they wanted, I guess they needed to search a lot on this turn, so it felt very good that we did that there, because all out of the entire 7 cards that they had, plus the one that they drew, they only used Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon. Then they played an Iono. So that tells me that they did not like what they got. That tells me they did not like what they got out of their hand, which is very, very nice. So they did end up getting an Iono, which again shuffles their hand and puts it on the bottom of their deck. So their cards still that they had from their first hand still didn't come back, which is awesome. So then they get the Sealstone off of the Iono, which was not part of their first hand. So they get the Sealstone off of the Iono. I guess they must have been grabbing like an Earthen Vessel or something off of that Sealstone. I'm not sure what they grabbed, but they play Earthen Vessel, they get the energy, so then now they can start attacking with the Milotic. Milotic uses Hypno Splash, but because Pidgeot has the Mist energy on it, it does not take the secondary effect of being put to sleep, so Pidgeot is not asleep, does take the 160 damage. So Pidgeot can definitely damage Milotic, but Milotic has a 2-turn knockout on Pidgeot, so we don't necessarily want Pidgeot to get knocked out here. And because of the sticky bind, we have to keep Pidgeot in the active for the moment. So we wanted to put Turos back in. This might have been a premature Palpad, but just in case, because Turos could come in handy later. Cyrano might come in handy later if we were looking for the second Pidgeot to play out, but we never really got there. So get the Duskulls down on the bench, because these are going to be important later as well. So we search out the boss's orders. We had 2 boss's orders in the deck still, so we search out a boss's orders. We lock them into the 3 retreat cost Gastrodon now. So the problem is when we evolved our Charizard was on the bench. And we knew that attacking with the Charizard at that point in time would just not be a very good idea. So, because we don't want to lock in a Charizard that has a retreat cost and then get all of the energy just so that it loses the energy because it has to retreat. Not a great idea. So, it also doesn't have a mist energy, so it could be put to sleep and it could cause all sorts of chaos for us. So we eat the fact that Charizard's not going to be able to grab the energy because of Sticky Bind. That's fine though, because we can just manually attach. It's not a big deal. So, but now, because the Gastrodon's in the active slot, Gastrodon's effect is shut down. And the other part is that they don't seem to have a very good way of being able to retreat this whenever they want to. So without switch, that's a fat 3 retreat cost on this Gastrodon. So pretty nasty. It's also a stage 1, so it can't benefit from any other basic type of boosting retreats and stuff like that. Ay. Light Blazer reaching a 10 sub streak. Or 10 stream streak, rather. Light Blazer, where are you? Didn't even see you sneak in here. There you go. Didn't even see you sneak in here. We're so focused on the game. Blustery Wind, so we damage intentionally. We want to put damage on the Gastrodon here. Reason being is it doesn't go for a knockout. And then we can easily set this up for a knockout in a future time. We don't want to give them a free retreat on Gastrodon. So we just do the 120. We set up the damage. And then we keep Pidgeot in the active. Now, if they can retreat it, you know what? Hats off, GG. If they can retreat it and KO our Pidgeot, you know, more power to them. But I want them to prove it to me, because I don't want to, again, I don't want to put Charizard in the active, because Charizard would take the KO. And then we're back to square one, where Charizard's going to be locked in, and it's going to be a bad situation for us. So we don't have any other good attackers into this. We just go ahead with Pidgeot. Pidgeot does the 120, and that's all she wrote, because if they retreat it, the kids take KO on Pidgeot, then we're in a bad spot either way. So they play Iono. Again, looks like they don't have a very good hand. They did shuffle their deck with the Earthen Vessel, so they get a little bit different cards. They attach to Mimikyu, so they have no intention of retreating this by the looks of it. They might still be able to retreat it with Switch, but it doesn't look like it because they use Instant Charge. Easy enough. I don't know if they were searching for their Switch or what was happening, but they don't apparently have a good way of retreating the Gastrodon, which is excellent news for us, because we have Dusknoir, and we have a TM Devolution in hand. So we use Arven to get the Dusknoir. I was looking for the Dusclops, but the Dusclops was prized, unfortunately. So we had to rare candy for the Dusknoir. One of our Duskulls, I would have preferred just using the Dusclops, but it turns out that it's not bad that we had the Dusknoir. So that's good. Rare candy Dusknoir, boom, boom, boom. We do 130 onto the Milotic. Milotic takes 130. Now this is important because on this turn here, we play TM Devolution. We take care of the Feebas, we take care of the Shellos, because the damage that we placed on Gastrodon earlier, well over the 70 HP on the Shellos, well over the 30 HP on the Feebas for the 130 there. So both of those get knocked out for 2 prizes. Easy. We knock out, and that's a lot of energy committed to the field too. So that's a water and 2, and basically a double turbo, so 2 colorless. Water and a double turbo, 2 energies gone off the Milotic now, so that's good. They play up the Cornerstone, so we don't really have a good answer for the Cornerstone at this particular second. So we could have been a bit faster, but the thing is that they had a huge hand, and we're gonna get to that in a second as well. So we get rare candy, and we get Dusclops, both of which are very, very important. So then we lose the TM Devo, obviously. Their next turn, not bad if we don't have cards to counter this. So they put the Hero's Cape on the Cornerstone to give it 310 HP. Pretty formidable. Double turbo onto the Ogre Pond. So Now they're threatening some damage here. Not a KO on Pidgeot yet, but they're threatening pretty good damage on it. Play Arven, they get the Night Stretcher. They Night Stretcher back in the Shellos, oddly enough. I guess they're very threatened about the potential for Dusknoir, but questionable move to put the Shellos back, but is what it is. So they Ultra Ball, or they Earthen Vessel for energy, and then they Instant Charge. So now they have a huge hand of, like, I think 12, and they have energy that they need in hand, and they've wasted some resources to find those energies. So what we want to do is make sure that they don't have access to that. So what we could have done is grabbed Canceling Cologne, and then we could have brought in Charizard and then attacked the Ogerpon on this turn. Not completely necessary, but like, we wanted to see if we could get it with Iono. We didn't. But one thing that was necessary, Lost Vacuuming, getting rid of the Hero's Cape permanently from the game. Goodbye. So that one's gone. Then we quick search for Iono. I was hoping that Iono could possibly get us the Canceling Cologne back. It unfortunately did not get us the Canceling Cologne, but that's fine. What it did do is it took their 11 cards, and put them down to 5. So it effectively more than halved their hand, which in my opinion is much better than that, because we can take an extra turn, right? We can definitely take an extra turn. We can let Pidgey faint. Pidgey fainted, obviously. Because we can definitely make sure that we don't have to worry about that. So they go ahead and Ultra Ball. They get their Gastrodon back out. So again, they have to waste a resource that they likely already had in hand previously. So they have to waste another resource. They have to throw down a Super Rod, get rid of a Nest Ball to get a Gastrodon back out. They had the energy in hand off of the Iono, unfortunately. But they KO the Pidgey for 120. So now our Pidgeot's still surviving. We have to put the Pidgeot into the active in order to use its ability because of Gastrodon. Gastrodon is back active on the bench now. So that means Pidgeot's ability, if it's on the bench, is not working. So then we just go ahead, Pidgeot, quick search for Canceling Cologne. Pidgeot's job here is done. We attach the energy to Charmander just to kind of prepare in case we have to start using Charmeleon for attacks. This is the reason that we're loading up the Charmander on the bench now. But Charizard comes in the active slot, Canceling Cologne, easy damage on the Ogerpon now that they've taken a KO. 2 KOs on the board because of our Dusknoir and now our Pidgey being knocked out. Charizard hits for 240, KOs the Ogerpon in one shot, and that's another 2 energy cards in the bin. So 2 double turbos gone. Hard to get back, 2 energies otherwise gone, so easy. Mimikyu comes back out here, and so we get another second fire here, and we get Briar. So now we're set up. If we get the Charmeleon, now the Charmeleon can attack the Mimikyu if need be. They Iono us, not really a big deal because we didn't have anything in hand that we super duper needed, but it gave us a win condition in the Night Stretcher, so praise be. So we get the Night Stretcher going. They play Nest Ball to get another Mimikyu down. They're setting up again, so they Ghost Eye the Charizard for 70, knowing that we can't damage the Mimikyu with Charizard as it is. But because we put the 120 damage on the Rotom, we have a win condition now. Because we play the Night Stretcher, then we get because we had the Dusclops already. We didn't have to search for Rare Candy. All we have to do is retreat the Charizard, promote the Dusclops, because Dusknoir cannot use its ability unless it's in the active slot because of the Gastrodon. So Dusknoir, being the active, escapes the Gastrodon's ability and now can use Cursed Blast. Cursed Blast goes on to the Rotom to complete the KO for the 2 prizes and wins the game. So important to remember when you're playing against him. We had Pheasantipity prize the entire game, unfortunately. Important to remember when you're playing against a control that's using Gastrodon or when that's using Milotic and stuff like that. If you're trying to do counters against it, you have to make sure that you're doing the proper ones, because if we TM Devo'd with Charizard, Charizard would not affect the Milotic because Milotic would block its effect, and that would mean that we're just dealing with Milotic for the entire game. Not good. So you have to TM Devo with a Pokemon that can actually affect the Pokemon itself. If this deck ran something like whatchamacallit, if it ran something like Rabska, we would have had a much harder time dealing with it, obviously. So like we would have had to knock out the Rabska before we used TM Devo, stuff like that. It would have been a much more difficult time to go through. But thankfully they didn't have Rabska. Thankfully they just went with like 4 other types of control Pokemon to try and get it there. But we got there, and that was because of being aware of the certain cards and how they operate and how to get around them, right? So they're very powerful cards in their own respect, but understanding how the cards work and understanding how to get around those cards will definitely help you in being able to handle control. Provided you have the cards available to you, because if we didn't have Canceling Cologne, this could have been a really different game. So, all right, pretty good though, pretty good.